It's honestly shocking how much money I saved doing this project myself instead of going with the quotes I got. And I'm going to tell you exactly how much money I saved. And doing this myself actually wasn't that hard. You just need some time and the right tools. And I will get to that part in a minute. So here I have every single receipt for the entirety of this project. I have put every receipt and every number into a certain bucket so that I know what each aspect of this project cost. So what work did I do and how much were the quotes by the professionals to get it done? But first, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be making detailed videos of every part of this project, so you don't want to miss those. Let's get into it. So here are the things I got quotes for. Upper cabinets all around, new doors and drawer fronts, painting of everything of course, one new base cabinet with a pull-out trash can, and pull-out pantry drawers. That's it. That's the work I got quotes for. And that didn't even include the door handles or the drawer pulls, which were about $400. All of the other changes you see here, such as the backsplash, the countertop, and the new floors, were not part of the quotes I got because I knew all along those were things that I would just do. And in the case of the countertop, I had a specific store I was going to buy from that had free financing. But before I reveal the quotes, I'm just going to be honest, I wasn't really expecting to do this project. At the time I did this project, about a year ago now, I had a 1 and a 3-year-old. So having the entire kitchen be a disaster would itself be a challenge. But also, obviously, we were living here. And I knew this project would take me quite a bit of time. It ended up being about 2 months. So I actually had a pretty high threshold for what I would pay to have professionals get it done in 1 week. But as it turns out, the quotes were so much that I just couldn't justify having someone else do it when I knew that I could actually do this with the skills and tools I had on hand. Okay, so what were the quotes I got? I got 3 quotes from 3 different companies and they were all about the same, within $1,000 or $2,000 of each other. They came in on average at a whopping $28,000. Yeah, that's nuts. Honestly, I was shocked. But initially, I still tried to convince my wife to just have them do it because I just knew it was going to take me a long time. But because she reminded me that my labor is free, it turns out we were going to save a lot of money. Just how much money? Let me tell you. So here are my cost breakdowns for all of the work that I originally got quoted. So the doors, meaning the wood, the shaker router bits, and the drawer slides in the pantry, $1,773.50. The cabinets, which includes the wood, the pull-out trash can, and redirecting the vent, $1,462.61. And then the paint for everything, $710.20. So that's a grand total of $3,946.31. Wow. That's basically a savings of $24,000 for me doing the work myself. That's legitimately shocking and insane to me. I was not expecting it to be that much of a difference. And once I estimated these costs, it was just a no-brainer. I had to do the work myself. And yes, these costs do include all the little things like screws and materials and shims and all that kind of stuff. It's all in the receipts. Now, when doing this project, we always knew we were going to change the backsplash in the counters. But with the savings, I just went ahead and changed the floor as well. So yeah, I was juggling a lot of different projects at once, which is one of the reasons it took at least 2 months. It was actually probably closer to 3 now that I think about it, but it was well worth it. We got a complete transformation. So what were the costs of those other things that I did? So the floors cost me $2,479.76. And these are pretty nice laminate floors, but we actually got them from Sam's Club. They were a lot cheaper there. Everything to do with the backsplash cost $1,155.06. And now the big one, the countertops, which were kind of a splurge because we had saved so much money at this point. These are quartz countertops. They cost us $5,673.04. Yeah, that was a big one, but we got free financing on it. So it was interest free for like 18 months. Great deal. So the total for those extra items, which were not part of the original quote, $9,307.86. Yeah, that's a pretty big chunk of change, but we splurged on some of these items like the countertops and the tiles because we had saved so much money elsewhere. The tiles and the countertops are not exactly low-end materials. So in total, this project cost us $13,254.17. So for half the price of the quotes that I got all that work done plus a lot more for a complete kitchen transformation as well as a floor transformation throughout the entire lower level of the house. Again, these numbers are just shocking to me. I'm not trying to minimize how much this costs because it is a lot of money still, but we had kind of saved up a lot of this money for years. Our kitchen was really ugly for a really long time. The before pictures honestly don't do it justice how bad it was. So, was it worth it for me to do this project? Yeah, obviously. Do I think this is doable for a lot of people and a better option than having someone else do it? Yeah, probably. So if you think you might want to tackle this project, the woodworking stuff specifically, not the tile and floor jobs, because that's not what this channel is about, what does it honestly take to do this? So here are my thoughts. This is not for a beginner. Measurements and cuts need to be precise. Everything from cabinets to doors to face frames needs to be perfectly square, so assembly is really important as well. For example, the new uppers need to be exactly the same as the ones below it, or else you're going to get some bad results. And doors and drawer fronts need to be carefully planned and laid out in advance. You need precise dimensions and spacing so that you get the look and function that you desire. I reused the actual drawers, I just changed the fronts, which was always what the plan was going to be. Now, if you aren't too worried about your measuring, your cutting, and your layout skills, what tools are actually needed? Besides the basics like a drill, a driver, levels, clamps, and things like that, you will need a table saw, router and router table, router bits, and don't go cheap on those, a pocket hole jig, a concealed hinge jig, and really helpful would be some nice quality cabinet clamps. A lot of you might already have a lot of these things, and I think most people thinking about this probably have everything except for maybe the router stuff. But honestly, with how much cheaper it is to do this project on your own, it might be worth it to just buy a whole router setup if you don't have one, especially if you think there's a lot of other uses and things you could do with that router table later on, which there is. It will be at minimum about a $500 investment. Obviously you can go way more, but that's not really necessary on this project, or really on a lot of woodworking projects. You do just want to make sure you have a nice corded router. A cordless router won't really work well in a router table. There's just not quite enough power, and then the battery doesn't last long enough. My little benchtop router table with my Bosch corded router gets everything done that I really need to get done using a router table. You really don't need a $2,000 setup for this project or for most at-home woodworking projects. Just to reiterate, this isn't a beginner project, but I do think a lot of people who actually have some skills but are holding off on this project due to the cost, or perhaps the intimidation of doing it, could actually do it themselves. If you can find the time and you have the patience, you can create a dramatic transformation at a fraction of the cost, saving thousands upon thousands of dollars over having the professionals do it for you. I hope this video has helped guide you on whether or not this project is worth it for you to do. I will be making more videos on how I actually did all of these things in this project, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of those. And if you've stuck around this long, you've earned some gratitude. Thanks for watching.